Welcome back. We got the afternoon recap. Happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day. If you tuned in this morning to the pre-market live stream, thank you so much for that. We're going to dive into the SPY. We're going to dive into the Qs today. We're going to talk about some position stuff that happened. So when you get in, let me know in the chat if you're here. How was your trading day? All right, so we're going to talk about the SPY. I'm going to talk about Roku. Roku had some wild activity today, so I want to get into that. And then I want to take some tickers from you guys. I want to know how you traded. If you have questions on any options positions, let me know. I just want to kind of break a few things down. So looking at the SPY, you can see we're at 337.60 is where we closed. We did not set a new high today. Yesterday, yes, yesterday was 338.12. That was the high, so we were a little bit short of it. Kind of a quiet market today. We initially had some selling off, as you can see by that bottom tail, but then it sort of rallied back up, and we finished with kind of a small, just a small little doji type day. If we flip over to the Qs, you can see that we've got, we also didn't set a high here. 234.93 is the high. We finished at 234.64, so another small baby up day. And the wildest thing of all, though, and I'm going to show you guys this real quick, is talking about Roku, because this morning I was talking to you all about how Roku gapped up because it beat earnings, and I had a few different positions on in terms of a couple naked puts and a put spread. And so when it gapped up this morning, you can see right here it gapped up and opened at 149.19 and then pushed up a little bit. So we had actually a nice initial push this morning, and then it just turned upside down and it ran all the way down. Like it took out the last 3.5 days, 3.5 days of trading action. And I guess it's all because of, let me look through the, it said that Roku stock surges, but earnings forecast raises eyebrows. And I was going to take a peek at this and just see what they were talking about in here a little bit, because they posted better than expected financials and engagements numbers, but its forecast was mixed, it said. Roku's management gave an upbeat view of revenue for the quarter and year ahead, but indicated that spending efforts would continue to weigh on the bottom line, prompting a disappointing earnings forecast, which is just incredible that after having a nice performance, that is all it really took, and it took the stock down really hard today. So just making sure the stream's okay. If you are in the if you're in the live stream, put something in the chat. Just say hello. Let me know where you're from. Just want to know who's here, who's watching. But Roku ended up having a really big down day, which is really, really wild because its earnings were great and revenue was great. So little concerns about the spending that Roku has had, and luckily I closed out 2 naked puts and a put spread, all of it up here, all of it above 145, I believe. I closed those pretty early in the trading day, and I'm really glad I did that because, as you can see, it dipped back down, and that would have sort of completely negated all of the gains we had from earnings. So as far as moving forward with Roku, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here, but the interesting thing is if we go over to the options chain, so I've said in the past I like to sell put options into down moves because I feel like the down move takes a little bit of the edge, a little bit of the bite out of the stock, and then kind of lessens the surprise. So my thought, seeing this push to the downside, is to watch this on the markets on Tuesday, see what happens, and then maybe it sags a little, maybe it doesn't, but just kind of get an idea for what it's wanting to do. If it doesn't start to drop, then coming in here and maybe going 42 days out and maybe looking to put something on pretty low. It's at 130 right now. You could sell a 95 put for right now somewhere between 106 and 177, maybe 150 bucks. But I'm kind of waiting to see how that plays out. But that could be a good trade because that's a big down move. The other down move we saw yesterday that I wanted to follow up on today was Wayfair. And Wayfair had that massive sell-off, and I sold puts in Wayfair. You can see that this MACD is pushed down. You can see the RSI is pushed down. So that combined with higher volatility rank makes me like this as a long position. So, and when I say long, I just mean selling puts. So sold some puts here, gonna wait to see what happens, but you can see after that big down move, today we just had a doji. It just sort of sat on that level. And this is a pretty significant level if you go back. You can see some touches out here and here using it as overhead resistance, and even right in here. And then it broke around, came out, gave a touch here, and then again here. Then it left for a while and now has returned, and it hit, kind of trending along that line, broke away, and now came right back. And now that doji is hung up right on top of that line. So that support level seems to be somewhat significant. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how things look there moving forward. How was everybody's trading day? Anybody want to talk any tickers? You got any tickers you want me to check out? SPCE we talked about yesterday with a few people. Oh my gosh. This thing just keeps going, and we aren't even to earnings yet. When will Bitcoin go full? Tesla, Virgin Galactic shares after a spacecraft arrives in New Mexico. They've just got a lot of stuff going on, so this is very exciting for them. They're using Virgin Galactic and Tesla in the same sentence, and that's causing a lot of craziness to the upside. So I'll be curious to see what ends up happening. I don't have a position in SPCE right now, Virgin Galactic, so we'll have to kind of keep a close eye on this one and see what is going on. And let's see, Carvana. We put Carvana on, and it's performing well so far. All it's got to do is just hang up in the air above, let's take a look and see. All it's got to do is hang above $78 and we'll be good to go. So we're about $10 out of the money. And yeah, hopefully that'll hold up. Kind of like this dip right here, that level at 78. So pretty helpful with that. Now remember, the markets are closed on Monday because of President's Day, so we'll be back at it on Tuesday. Is there nothing anyone wants to talk about today? I think we've got 6 people in the stream. I'm assuming the stream's going well. If you guys want to ask any questions or talk any tickers, let me know. If not, we can kind of wrap things up. I was hoping some people would join today. I know it's Valentine's Day, so I know people are probably very busy. Let's take a look at Facebook here. Yeah, Facebook had a small day. The markets were just sort of small, not much going on. Just a small update. Boy, Tesla finishing at $800. Incredible. It just won't stop. And it's got this sort of scoopy wedge thing happening where it could either break down or break up. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to break up. It's just been so out of control. The other thing I've been watching, I do have a good position in Stitch Fix. This has been one that I've liked all along. It's a company with, they've got a great CEO. I can't remember her name right off the bat, but she started the company out of her dorm room, and it's blossomed into an amazing thing. And they have no debt. They've been incredible. They're outperforming, and now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight days up. Things are looking really good right there. Hey, Paula Chow, welcome to the chat. How about NVIDIA? Let's look at NVIDIA. All right, I'm gonna bring up the chart, but give me 2 seconds. I got something in the oven. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Okay, NVIDIA, look at that. So NVIDIA had an obvious earnings beat and a good outlook moving forward. I'm just gonna check the news real quick, Paula, just to see what's going on. So mid-afternoon, let's see. Raymond James reiterates outperform on NVIDIA, so they raised the target to 300, just noting the strong upside before product cycle has even gotten started. This is really interesting. So NVIDIA's got some strong news, things looking good, and they raised it to 300, which is kind of funny because, well, when did they do that? That was today, because it's already at it had a high of 294, so it's really, really close. But NVIDIA right now, so Paula, look at this. I'm going to zoom in just a tiny bit. It's trending to the upside, and we've got the MACD pushing up, showing that it's maybe a little overbought, and the RSI showing the same thing. We're breaking up above this 70 level. So it's telling me that it's way high, so options-wise, I'd be maybe thinking that it might move back to the downside. So people might sell calls or call spreads in this scenario. But right now I wouldn't be buying NVIDIA until I saw a pullback. And I also probably wouldn't be selling puts on NVIDIA until I saw a pullback of some sort. It's at all-time highs, so the chances are, the likelihood is that it's probably going to have a little bit of a pullback first before it continues higher. Hey Shax, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Give me 1 second. I'm running out of power. All right, no more interruptions. We're good now. I got power. All right. Hey, Shax, thank you. I appreciate that comment. Great work. You've been following me on YouTube. I appreciate that. I love having these videos, these chats. It's been really awesome, and so happy that you and Paula are here. Paula, anything about NVIDIA specifically you want to talk about? As far as I see it, it's a little overbought, and I wouldn't be getting long right now. I would be waiting for it to show a pullback before I did anything. Shax, do you have anything you want to take a peek at? NVIDIA does have a dividend. It's not that great though. Do I trade option premiums? Yes, I do. I trade option premiums. I sell premium, primarily covered calls and naked puts. I like to sell puts, and I kind of have a little style of waiting for the MACD and the RSI to show oversold before I typically jump in and sell puts. But I have a couple positions that I have long stock that I've written covered calls on, and one in particular right now is Stitch Fix. I was just looking at this, but Stitch Fix, I have a couple contracts to the long side, or I have a couple hundred shares long, and I've got 2 contracts that are covered calls right now. So I like using covered calls because I can roll them up and continue with the stock, but also if we get a pullback in the markets, I kind of like that it's a little bit of a built-in hedge. If we get a down move, that will make my covered call profitable and I can close it quicker and then put on another one. So I can kind of cycle those in and out. Now, Shax, do you trade any options? Just checking things here. BYND and ROKU, yes. We just talked about ROKU. Let's bring that up real quick. So with ROKU, Shax, I had 3 positions on. I had 2 naked puts and one put spread on ROKU, and I closed them all out today, luckily. at the market open while we were up in the high 140s. And then I guess the outlook for Roku wasn't great. Some people got a little nervous about it, and that caused a lot of selling. And if I zoom in here, look at this volume bar. The short sellers got all over this one today. Pushed it all the way down. With this kind of down move, it makes it really tempting, Shacks, for me to go in and sell another naked put on Tuesday, just because it's such a monstrous, sort of dramatic move to the downside. It's bigger than anything Roku's seen in a long time, even if we go way back. I don't know that Roku's ever had a down day like that. That might be the biggest down day it's ever had. I mean, some of these are decent, but today was monstrous. That's a big red candle. So, all right, you're doing your paper trading. That's fantastic. I know if you have Thinkorswim, you can paper trade options contracts. You can do the same thing. So you can work on selling naked puts and sort of practicing different strategies for options. Shax, where are you from? I'm going to bring up BYND here. BYND. Wow, look at that line. It came down and hovered and then erupted. Yeah, BYND looks really interesting. Again, I like to look at that MACD. I like to make sure that RSI looks good. It's not quite where I'd like it ideally, but I also want to take a look at the implied volatility. So Shax, if you look at this number right here, this is the implied volatility rank. And if you're using Thinkorswim, this number really tells you when volatility is really big and swollen. When it's above, I like it to be above 50%, meaning that when premium is high, you can sell contracts, collect a lot of premium, and then as the volatility drops, the premium price will go down. And when it gets really low, then you can buy back your put option to close the position. So say you sold it for $1 and closed it for 50 cents, you get to keep that 50 cents in between. So that's kind of how we can profit as premium sellers in the options world. But looking at this, I wanted to just take a peek at some of the option prices. Yeah, Beyond Meat's got a lot of crazy option. This is really good option premium in here. You know, when you can come out to one full standard deviation and still make, you know, between $3 and $4, that's really great. Oh, you're in Baltimore. I used to live in Baltimore, Shax. I was in Baltimore in 2007. I'm trying to remember. I lived off of Saratoga Street over by Mercy, right across the street or next to Mercy Hospital. I think our parking deck connected to Mercy Hospital. Sort of kind of like downtown, maybe off of St. Paul, I think it was. Is there a St. Paul Ave that's close to, I think it was St. Paul and then Saratoga Street, sort of down by close to the water-ish. But I love Baltimore. I love crab cakes. It's a great city. All right, so what else can we take a look at? We got Beyond Meat. So Beyond Meat right now is up, but it's had a little bit of a pullback, and it looks like it's setting up a little support level maybe right in here. And if you get a downside move here and you get the RSI below 40, closer to 30, that might be an optimal position to either nibble a few shares to go long or to possibly put on a put spread or a naked put for the long side, kind of a bullish trade on that. Is Roku good for a long? You know, it might be. I would wait until Tuesday and just see what it does. So Paula, if Roku starts selling off on Tuesday, just keep waiting. Let it go and go and go. But if it doesn't, if it sort of sells off and then stops and then just kind of hangs out right here, that if you are wanting to buy shares, that might be a good spot to start buying. I wouldn't, you know, let's say you wanted to buy 100 shares. I wouldn't go all in with 100. I would buy like 10, and then I'd wait a day and I'd see what happens. And if it drops a little and kind of hangs, I'd buy another 10. I like to sort of leg my way in. I don't like to go in and buy a bunch of shares all at once because it's hard to get that good average price. I like to kind of average in slowly. You know, like imagine if when this dropped, if you'd have bought 100 shares here, you would have done all of this to the downside. Whereas what if you'd have bought 10 here, and then it popped and you waited, and it dropped down and you bought 10 here, and it popped and it dropped and you bought 10 here. So after you would have just kept nibbling shares as it came down, and then you would have got this huge pop to the upside, and maybe you would have sold your entire position or half your position. It's good to kind of nibble, especially since brokers now don't charge commissions. You can nibble 10 shares and you're not charged anything. So before everybody went commission free, that used to be kind of hard because you'd be paying multiple dollars per trade, and you make 10 trades to get 100 shares. That starts to add up. You might be paying $30, $40, $50, $60. But Roku could be a good long or a good nibble to start off if it doesn't continue dropping. If it continues to drop on Monday, I would wait and kind of let all this drama play out. And then when that drama seems over, then I might start to nibble back in. And I might put that on my list, Paula. I might look at nibbling a few shares to the long side. That might be a good idea. And also, Paula and Shax, let me know, can you hear me okay, and is the video looking okay? Just want to check and make sure the stream looks okay. Make sure there's no issues. Okay, just making sure everything's good here. All right, I think we're good. All right, any other questions on anything? Any other trades you guys are looking at? Luckin Coffee ended up just holding a small green doji today. Oh, good. Thank you, Shax. I appreciate that. So Luckin Coffee is hanging tight right at that $38 level. What I'm waiting for on Luckin is to get one good strong day up, and I'll be able to close a few different naked puts that I have on this trade or on this name. It's been quite a ride. I was involved during this down day, this spike back up. Things got a little manipulated by Muddy Waters' short selling firm, and just created a lot of chaos in Luckin Coffee with the reports of them not or falsely reporting their earnings numbers was the rumor of this report. It wasn't true, so we kind of moved on without it. Doug Pham, how are you? Welcome, Doug. Anything you want to talk about? We got Shax, Paula, and Doug. I love it. This is great. Let's see if we can find anything else out to look at. Can check out Zillow. Zillow is an animal right now. It has moved officially into this gap right here. If I zoom out, you can see this gap. From this bottom touch, I'll kind of pull it down a little bit, but you can see this gap right here after they had an earnings miss, and then sort of spent a lot of time down here, and now it's really gathering itself, and it's wanting to break back into that channel. I think if it establishes itself in this channel, I think we're going to go to 55 pretty quickly. And then remember, we've got earnings on 2/19, so pretty great. Satoshi Nakafomo, how are you? Welcome. Doug, that sounds awesome. Just hang out and sit back and listen. We're just going through a few trades, taking some tickers from everybody, talking about what I did today. I think the name that's on everybody's mind is ROKU, and traded this one, had some short puts, and closed those out today when it gapped up. Had a good earnings report, but then had sort of a shaky outlook, so it sold off pretty hard. You can also take a look at Tesla. We looked at this one a little earlier. It finished up at 800 and is sort of forming this slight wedge here. Let me grab the right tool. It's just looking a little wedgy, funny. I think it's going to have another violent move at some point, either up or down, not sure, but super interesting watching Tesla. What do I think about LLIT? Yolks Gaming, welcome to the chat. Let's take a look. LLIT. Oh, we got a penny stock. Yolks, I don't usually trade penny stocks, so it's hard for me to give you any idea. I have no idea what they do. Can you tell me what they do, what type of business they're in? Shax, I do not have a Discord chat, but I have a private Facebook group. So if you go to the YouTube page on the bottom right corner of the banner, the title banner, you'll see a Facebook icon. Click that icon, it'll take you to the private Facebook group, and then from there, you just agree to a couple questions, like to be nice to people and not use profanity, and then I'll approve you and you'll be in. So anybody, Paula, Doug, Yolks Gaming, all of you, if you want to be part of the private Facebook group, feel free to click that link and then just submit a request and I'll get you in. We've got about 63 members right now, and it's been pretty fun having a place to come talk stocks and to share ideas and just kind of create a little bit of a community. I don't think Dave's here. Dave is in the Facebook group. He was in the morning live stream, so if he were here, I was going to ask him to share a little bit about the Facebook group, but just place where people can share ideas. Yeah, as far as LLIT, I have no idea. It looks like it's down, but I don't trade these types of stocks. I typically trade options, and I trade options on larger cap stocks, and LLIT doesn't even have any options instruments. So can't really give you any feedback on that one. I apologize. If you got any others, let me know. Mainly large cap stocks for me. Large mid caps, large caps, mega caps. Boy, Lyft had that earnings miss, a pretty significant earnings miss, pulled all the way back down. If the MACD starts to swell to the downside pretty good and the RSI gets down closer to 30, I might consider Lyft for a naked put option. And I just want to check real quick and see what the implied volatility. The volatility is really, really low. So actually, I probably won't be able to do that. We need volatility to be high so that we can sell premium that's juicy, and then let premium shrink and contract back down so we can close our positions for really cheap and then keep the bulk of that move. Let's see. Roger that. Nice. Yeah, Shax, go check it out. It'll be if you head over there right now, I'll approve you right now. But yeah, Lyft was pretty crazy. I was going to check. I've got a scanner that I like to set up here. Let me check out the scanner and see if we've got anything moving into next week. Right now, things are just kind of, I don't know, kind of weird. Roku's really the only one I'm going to be watching going into Tuesday. Skyworks Solutions was another one I might be watching, but I don't know if the volatility is that good. The volatility is not that great. Yeah, Luckin is my big one. I'm watching this one. If I take positions off on Luckin, I'll wait for another pullback and I'll put some more on. I just like how great the premium's been. But it's dropping too. Volatility is kind of leaving. It's like leaving the markets. If you guys go to the VIX, VIX, this is actually a volatility measure of volatility. So when volatility gets up 16, 17, 18, premium prices get really good. And then when it drops, the premium prices go back down. So you can see all these days that we've hung around 12, then get a quick spike, lots of premium, come back down to 12. So it's dependent upon where volatility is. And volatility is just fear in the market. But this is actually a measure of volatility in the markets. Let's see. Satoshi, let's see. You've not done options yet, been looking to educate yourself a bit. Maybe I can explain to someone like me a bit. Yeah. Oh, there's Dave. Dave, how are you? To answer your questions, Dave, people were asking about the Facebook group, and if I was just telling them about it. So if you have any thoughts about the Facebook group, if you like it, or if you recommend coming over and joining it and checking it out, feel free to throw something in the chat. If not, no big deal. Is it best to buy calls when IV is low? It is, but the win rate on bot calls is so low. If you check out Tasty Trade, they'll talk about buying call spreads. They call them debit spreads. So when IV is low, you can buy a debit spread, and then you're hoping to get an expansion in volatility. So if something has a volatility of 0 or 4 or 5%, you can buy it and then sell it when volatility grows to 40-50%, and then that's where your gains come from. They're not my preferred method. It's a little harder. I've bought a few credit spreads, and they're a little tough to do for me. I hate paying for things up front, so that's kind of where I get stuck with that. But yes, buying calls typically is best when volatility is low because they're cheaper. What do I think of LVGO? York Chu. York, welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen your name before. We were just talking about a Facebook group, private Facebook group. If you click the link in the banner, York, you can go over there, check that out, submit a request, and I'll approve you to come on in. LVGO. Let's see. Let me just see real quick what we've got in terms of, we got some volatility, we've got some options premium. Yeah, this one's interesting. Right now it's kind of in the middle. It looks like it's trending in the middle of a channel sort of right now. So for me personally, I would probably be looking at this as saying, we've got maybe a little bit of a, see if we can pick up a little trend line here. Almost looks like you got a little bit of a trend line through here, and that sort of those little bounces, and since it's sort of range bound back and forth, if you're looking to get long on this one, I'd probably wait until it comes back down to this line or a little closer to it, and then you could either sell a naked put or nibble a few shares to the long side. But yeah, that's I'll have to put that one on my watch list. LVGO. Let me see if there's any news on it real quick. Release results for the fourth quarter. Oh, and they got earnings coming up on 3/2, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Dave. Facebook is a group is a good resource. I think now that Jimmy has relaunched, it'll have a bit more life. Yeah, I hope so too, Dave. Yeah, just being more involved and kind of having a direction for the channel. It's going to really help out. So, oh, good. Oh, Shax, you're already in the private Facebook group. Great. As Sharon. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Dave, what did you trade today? You trade any options, or did you trade some long stock today? What's GE doing? The other one was Microsoft that I was keeping an eye on just because it had some down days. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Microsoft's going to do, if it's going to dip a little before it climbs. It's just been so high. It just never has down days, and then we got a couple of good ones. So I'll keep a close eye on that one as well. And then old MDB, small green doji today. This is sort of one I've been involved with for quite some time, as a lot of you probably know. And just looking at this one to just keep ripping the face off the planet. It's been amazing. I just keep selling covered calls on it, and I've got my cost basis really low, so it's been a really good one to trade. You bought Microsoft and some Uber calls. Let's look at that. Nice, Dave. So you got a little pullback. What strike did you buy on Uber, Dave? What expiration date and what strike did you go with? Maybe March 27th? March 27th, 39 calls. Is that what you did? Uber seems like it has some more upside to it. It's been a good one. Yeah, they had good earnings, so things are looking up for Uber, I think. I like that we got a little bit of a pullback. Let's see, Microsoft, you went with March 6th, $180 calls. Let's see that. Microsoft, March 6th, 21 days out, $180 calls. Okay. Did you pay about $7? Or close to it? Yeah, that looks good, Dave. I mean, you got the pullback. You're already $5 closer, and Microsoft just seems to continue grinding. You're going to get a premium coming up if you do own any shares there. That's favorable, but that's awesome. You paid like 640 times it. Perfect. 640. Wow, that's great. Thank you for letting me know about the lag. The other one we can look at is Cisco. Boy, Cisco missed and fell. So here's another one that's going to be coming down a little bit. Might get the MACD stretch and the RSI stretch to the downside. Volatility's probably gone though since earnings are over. Let's take a look. Yeah, volatility's low, so I wouldn't be trading this one at all. Yeah. Oh, nice, Dave. 50 SMA, so you figured it was time to strike. Very nice. Yeah, that's fantastic. Dave, do you ever sell any puts, any naked puts, or any put spreads at all? Yeah, as far as Cisco goes, this is, I would probably let it fall a little bit more. I like to see that MACD push down, and I like to see the RSI get closer to 30. So something kind of like this combined with this, and that kind of gives me a framework of, okay, we're low on both, so maybe it's time to start looking at naked puts or looking at buying calls or debit spreads, or even long stock if that's what you like. Okay, no puts yet. Yeah, puts are interesting. I love how mobile they are. If you get in trouble with the puts, you can move them around. And yes, it ties up too much capital. You're right. You could always try a put spread though. Put spreads are easy on the capital. They're not as mobile. Can't move them around as much like you can a naked put. But yeah, those are both interesting strategies. But yeah, it does tie up a lot of capital. But when you're trading something like Luckin Coffee, $38 stock, a couple naked puts there, this thing's been just a crazy trader. It's been so much fun to sell puts in Luckin Coffee so far. We'll see how it goes. I hope to close these out on Tuesday. Just hoping for a nice pop. If we can get a pop, that'd be great. Oh, Ford, you dog. Back down again. Zscaler ended up holding tight right there, so nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's about all I did today. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to report to you guys. Puts are looking good, just waiting to clean them up once I get a little bit more profit. But that's really about it. Oh, Dave, good. You're in Luckin too. 38 on 221. I'm going to look at that real quick. 38, 221. So you bought the 38? All right, so yeah, you would like the pop as well. It'd be great to get a nice move. I'd like to see that move. If we could get a push back up, like I'd love to see us back above 40 really quickly on Tuesday. That would be ideal. I'd be super excited to close a few positions and take them off, and then wait for a little bit of a dip, and then maybe start putting them back on, start reloading on Luckin Coffee once I get another little get a pop, little push to the downside, reload, and then look to go higher. Luckin's just doing so much, and I think once the coronavirus fears fall off a little more, I think things might come back to life. It just really shut it down. So we'll have to see. If you think it's a bad, tell me. Your Luckin position? I don't think it's bad if that's what you like to do. It's not what I do. I don't like to buy just single leg calls. I just prefer. Well, I think we just trade differently. I like to get paid up front. I like to sell puts and then know that I can be mobile with them. So, yeah, if you're doing well buying calls, then by all means, if it works for you, go with it. Okay, Doug. So you got a few LK shares. That's great. Lots of opportunity in this range right in here to kind of be nibbling a few here and there, just to get a good cost basis, and then hopefully we'll get a move higher. You know, that's always the ultimate want, is for it to move higher when you're holding long stock. So we'll see what happens to Luckin. I'm excited for it next week. It's had a lot of great movement. It is capable of big days, as we saw on January 8th and 9th, 2 really big days up, and also back here even on November 15th. So it's capable of big moves, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But it's been pausing right here and just kind of resting. So I'm hoping that means it's gathering legs to move higher. Any good news about coronavirus? Any good news about coronavirus is going to send this up. So if you hear anything about the vaccine being more effective, or the numbers of people with reported cases falling, anything like that is going to cause a big move, in my opinion, in Luckin. So we'll keep our eyes out for that. But anyway, guys, I gotta head out. Time to start the weekend. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Doug, Dave, Shax, Yolks Gaming, York Chu, Satoshi Nakafomo, and who else is in here? And Paula Chow. Thank you guys all so much for being in here. It was great having you be part of this afternoon chat. I'm loving doing the morning and afternoon live streams. Just trying to bring the channel back, get the Facebook group going, and just come up with a sustainable way to kind of share ideas and talk stock. So, any last minute questions? Go ahead and put them in the chat. Peace, Dave. Peace. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. You're welcome, Shax. All right, everybody. That's it then. Peace. We'll see you Tuesday.